Next on your LinkedIn profile, you can see who viewed your profile. You can see here from this graph that by undertaking activity on a particular profile, it went up 500% viewers in the last week. You know, that's epic, that's really great visibility. And it's the difference between landing a contract and not landing a contract sometimes. So, there's a measurement there to show how successful your engagement is being. Next off, here's a small screenshot from my own LinkedIn profile of my experience. Important to remember here, this is not your CV. Do not waffle on. Gets lost anyway, people don't read it. Recruiters and hiring managers are scanning for who, what, when. Maybe a quick glance at the text. Think, how would you explain the job you do or did down the pub or to your nan? Do it like that, but with professional language. Succinct, simple, understandable. Avoid buzzwords and do not bullshit. The next feature of the LinkedIn profile are endorsements. Endorsements are a LinkedIn feature that allows others to verify your skills with a single click. LinkedIn endorsements are really important. They're one of the most effective ways to prove your expertise and back up your claims. Anyone can say that they possess a particular skill, but having 99 plus endorsements proves your skills. By the way, 99 plus is the maximum that LinkedIn will show. First, in order to get up to those numbers, you need to prioritize your list of skills. So you can do up to 50, but I'd recommend starting with just 5. That's enough. Next, you need to embrace the law of reciprocity. Just ask. There's a template in the workbook. Download it from the link below. So let me go over that again. Prioritize your skills. It tends to be easy to get endorsements when it's for your core skills that people naturally associate you with. Think about your personal brand. Think about how others see you. So, for example, many moons ago, I ran an e-commerce department, but I'm more skilled at program management. Therefore, most people associate my name with program management more than e-commerce, which makes them more likely to give me an endorsement for program management. That's why I made the conscious decision to use program management as the first skill on my profile. I'm a firm believer in the law of reciprocity. It's a psychological principle that makes a difference on LinkedIn and other social media sites for that matter, and life in general actually. Long story short, it simply means that people are inclined to do something nice for you if you've already done something nice for them. I know it's common sense, but as I've said many a time before, the thing about common sense is it's not that common. Reciprocity can be applied to LinkedIn endorsements as well. It's not rocket science. Endorse the skills of others first, and there's a good chance a considerable percentage of them will return the favour. I recommend starting with the people that you're closest to and have the tightest personal relationships with. This might include colleagues, team members, previous employers, and satisfied customers or clients. Look over the skills that they list on their profiles and add a few endorsements. Once they see that you've made the effort to help them, many will be inclined to help you as well. If they know for a fact that you're adept at a particular skill, it shouldn't be any trouble for them to endorse you. It's just one click. And the beautiful thing is, it's easy to do. It's not like it requires a major time commitment. Unlike personal recommendations that require someone to write a unique statement, an endorsement only requires that single click. It's really no big deal. One thing I've learned in life, as well as in business, it's important to ask for help. Some of my biggest breakthroughs were simply the result of me asking for help, a favour, etc. And you know what? A lot of people are more than willing to help you out. Here's tactic number 1. If you're looking to raise your number of endorsements quickly, I suggest politely asking others to give them to you. It's that simple. Send a brief message to 250 to 500 connections asking for endorsements. I've given you an outline in the workbook you can download from the link below. Let me read it out to you. Hey, name. The name's optional, but it's obviously better to personalise. What skills do you want to be endorsed for? I'm going around endorsing people for the skills they want highlighted. This is a big help when it comes to your next job search, believe it or not, as recruiters and hiring managers look for these skill sets on LinkedIn. So I thought it made sense for everyone to help each other. If you get a sec, could you in turn endorse my profile for only these 5 skills? Insert skill 1, insert skill 2, insert skill 3, skill 4, skill 5. I'm trying to boost these skills to the top of my profile. Let me know what you need to be endorsed for and I'd be happy to do the same for you. Thanks, your name. And then insert your LinkedIn URL. You can find your LinkedIn URL by clicking on your face in your profile image, and it'll take you to your profile page. In the URL bar at the top of the browser, we're showing it on screen now, copy and paste that URL. It'll start with linkedin.com/in, and then after the slash, your name or some combination of your name and numbers. You can actually modify it if you'd like to do that. Here's a second tactic. There's another simple way to go about asking. It involves leveraging existing resources where people understand your skill set and know what you bring to the table. Some examples might include your blog or your email. Here's what you do. First, invite others to connect with you on LinkedIn. This is necessary because the last time I checked, only first degree connections are allowed to endorse you. To do this, you could leave a call to action with a link to your LinkedIn account at the end of a blog post or in your email signature, for example. Then, each time you make a new connection, send them the message I discussed in the previous tactic. Be active on LinkedIn. This goes back to my previous point about being social. One of the things I find interesting about LinkedIn is that many people seldom update their profiles. There are currently, at the time of me recording this video, 467 million users of LinkedIn. Only 3 million of those people update their profiles on a weekly basis. That's less than 1%, a tiny percentage. So you immediately shoot yourself to the top of this particular pyramid if you do this. A lot of people update their Facebook or Instagram at least 2 or 3 times a week. But for some reason, most people totally forget about LinkedIn. Not a good idea when you're a contractor. It's your shop window and you want the latest and greatest styles in there, dragging people in to see more. My objectives are different these days, but if you look at the activity feed of my profile, you'll notice I update quite frequently, and for good reason. The more often I update, the more I'm on the radar of my connections. That means more traffic to my profile and more opportunities for engagement, including endorsements. What I'm trying to say to you is that you should make a point to consistently update your LinkedIn profile with quality content. It doesn't even need to be your own content. Curated content, or basically other people's content, that's relevant is totally fine if it offers real value and scratches your connections collective itch. And when you're choosing what type of content to post, try to make sure it's relevant to the primary skills you're seeking endorsements for. Let me say that bit again. Let's say you're trying to get endorsed for the skill of business analysis. Don't post content about EastEnders or the Formula One. Post content about business analysis. Simple. Considering the small number of people posting updates on LinkedIn, it should be relatively easy for you to gain users' attention when they scroll through their activity feeds on LinkedIn. Next up, let me talk about LinkedIn profile recommendations. Here's a summary. I'm going to go into detail of all of these points next. On screen, I'm showing you a little subsection of my own recommendations on LinkedIn. First off, know where the link is, circled here. Pick people thoughtfully. Work through your list of people you've worked with in the past who you know, like and trust most, and of course, for whom the feeling is reciprocated. Give recommendations first to get recommendations. People are busy, even your bestest buddies, so write it for them. It's an interesting and useful exercise to write about yourself from somebody else's perspective. Aim for 20 plus recommendations, but not all at once. Get started with a couple, a handful, and spread them out. Talking of a good spread, you want recommendations from all levels, managers, peers, reportees across multiple assignments. How do we as humans make purchase decisions? In large part, we make them based on social proof. What do others say about the product? How do we as humans make purchase decisions? In large part, we make them based on social proof. What do others say about this product or that? Does someone we admire and trust rave on and on about it? Think for a moment about Amazon reviews or TripAdvisor. How many times have you gone right over to those reviews before trying out a restaurant or a product or whatever it might be? My guess is plenty. You do this because you want to see what others are saying, and you're going to base your decisions, at least in part, on these reviews. The same exact thing goes on with hiring decisions. The consumer, in this case, a hiring manager, recruiter, HR person, only they're not looking on Amazon, they're looking on LinkedIn. LinkedIn recommendations provide you with the perfect opportunity to share third-party endorsements or social proof of your talents with people trying to make purchase, in this case, hiring decisions. Don't squander this opportunity. Instead, follow these top tips to score some amazing, relevant LinkedIn recommendations. Number 1, find the Ask to be Recommended link. I'm not being a smart aleck. If you've never asked anyone for a LinkedIn recommendation, you may not even know how to find this. Here's what to do. Go to your profile, scroll down to recommendations, and look for the Ask for a Recommendation link. LinkedIn update their site regularly, so this may change from time to time. It will be called Ask to be Recommended. Number 2, pick people thoughtfully. This is no time to be willy-nilly with your requests. Your goal is to secure powerful recommendations that support your professional brand and the skills you most want to highlight. Ideally, you want to approach people who you know will work out well and can speak intelligently to the capabilities that will matter the most to your future employers. Next, approach with specificity. LinkedIn will default you to an incredible, lame and generic request message if you don't personalize it otherwise. And you absolutely must zap this vanilla blabber and customize your own message. In this message, you want to share with the person you're approaching exactly what you'd like and how he or she can best help. Try something along the lines of the following. Hi, Jill. I hope everything's going well in Texas. I'm writing to ask if you'd be willing to write a LinkedIn recommendation for me that highlights my crisis communication skills. Ideally, I'd love you to outline the experience you had with me through the DEFCON 5 initiative last year in Tulsa. I'm working hard to transition into a senior communications role, and most of the employees I'm considering put a strong focus on crisis communications. You get the point. Make sure to be gracious and thankful in this note, and at the end, encourage this person to let you know if you may ever return the favour. Reciprocity is a huge, wonderful thing. Next, number 4, don't ask 20 people at once. People can always tell if someone's raced out and asked half the people in his network to give him a LinkedIn recommendation. How? Their date set. You want to make your recommendations look like they're coming in organically, that means naturally, rather than as a result of you strong-arming or bribing or clicking. Thus, space out your requests a little bit. Rome does not have to be built in a single day. Build thoughtfully, not hurriedly. Next, number 5, get a broad spread. You want to demonstrate that you're able to work with people at all levels, upwards, sideways, downwards. You don't want to leave a doubt that although you're great at sucking up to the boss, your team hate you or vice versa. LinkedIn endorsements may be all the rage these days, but it's the recommendations that pack the most punch when it comes to supporting your professional brand and telling the world that you've got the goods. Go and use them to your advantage. Nearly there, guys. The final part of today's video, your CV. Look at this diagram. What is the point of a CV? Like all parts of the marketing journey with landing a contract, it's another step along the way. It's not the be all and end all. It's a step along the marketing funnel to get you your next contract. So here are some potential steps a CV may go through. It may go through job boards, it may go through recruiters, it may go through hiring managers. Certainly will go through hiring managers. What is the point of your CV? Who's consuming it? We've outlined 3 stakeholders, but maybe it'll just be one of those that consumes it. The key thing to remember is that your CV needs to serve its purpose, which is getting over those hurdles only. It's your marketing document to get you invited to interview. Next, let me tell you about the first person that's going to read your CV. It's actually not going to be a person at all in many circumstances. It's likely to be a robot, or as they're known in the trade, an ATS, or an applicant tracking system. These are automated solutions to read through your CV to see if you meet the criteria that the recruiter or hiring manager has set. The most dispiriting aspect of job hunting for many people is the stream of standardised rejection emails. These often appear arbitrary, as if no one has bothered reading your CV. It's probably because they haven't. In fact, applicant tracking systems, ATSs, or resume robots, as they're disparagingly called, now reject up to 75% of CVs before they even get in front of a human being. Applying for jobs is much easier these days thanks to all the online application, job boards, and the Apply Now button on LinkedIn. However, as a result, recruiters are now receiving a flood of digital CVs for every vacancy. They use these ATS systems, despite their shortfalls, to cut through the clutter and find the right applicant, or at least the applicant that ticks all the boxes. An ATS creates a shortlist from thousands of candidates on a recruiter's database. If the ATS doesn't understand your CV, it won't select it. Consequently, a human recruiter won't even set eyes on it. Let me dwell on that point. If the applicant tracking system does not understand your CV, it won't select it. Doesn't matter what you think about that. Don't fight the power, comply. Otherwise, your CV ain't going to get read. Whether you're a graduate or a C-suite executive, you need to prepare your CV for the ATS challenge or risk missing potentially ideal opportunities. Each contract you land could be worth £30,000 or even more. This is worth investing time in, guys. Let me talk about the things that the applicant tracking system might reject you for. Here they are on screen. They might reject you for graphics in your document, italics in your document, multiple colours in your document, hyperlinks, symbols, horizontal lines, graphs, text boxes, icons, vertical lines, tables, underlines, registered trademarks, mixed fonts, small fonts, dates older than 12 years, for example. Tiny standard bullet points are fine. An ATS does not like sexy. You might have come up with a really pretty CV, but the robot ain't going to understand it. It likes boring and simple. Remember to stuff your CV. What that means is pump it full of relevant keywords from the entire job description for each job you apply for via an online portal. Don't get rejected because a piece of software and an algorithm. What I'm going to do for you now, guys, is I'm going to share my personal CV for you here to download. Link below. I'm not going to be able to help each and every one of you who might need help with your CV. So hopefully by following the instruction on this video, it will really, really help you. Let me take you through my CV visually here. At the top there, you can see my name and a single clear role description. Not program manager / business analyst, not change manager / program director, just program director, single clear role. Customize that for each role and application if necessary. Next up, I've got my location and contact details. You'll notice that I've put a photo on this screenshot, put a big X through it. Don't put a photo on your CV. It's an image, don't need to know it, and it's really about discrimination as well. You don't want to be including a photo on there, so take that off. Next is your profile section. 3 to 5 concise bullet points. Some recruiters and hiring managers won't get further than this. It's a quick and dirty summary of who you are, what you do. Look at what I've written. How might that translate for your particular role? Next up, you've got the key skills section. These are your keywords. I talked about stuffing earlier. Get this key skills stuffed full of the right keywords that are going to really work for the automated tracking solution robots. Next up is career history. Keep it simple. Date, role, organisation, summary, responsibilities and achievements. Achievements are key. People want to know what you achieved, not just what you did. Put yourself in the hiring manager's shoes. Think of when you've been hiring if you've had to do so. What have you looked for in a candidate's CV? Okay, that's it for workshop day 1, guys. I hope you found that really useful. I know how easy it is to walk out of a session like this, full of enthusiasm and ideas, and then it all fizzles out. Hopefully, you've written down some really clear actions during this video. But if not, take a few minutes now to review and write down your top 5 so you can make some progress. Bookmark this video, come back to it, play it multiple times. Do whatever you need to do to take yourself forward. And don't forget to check out all of the other great resources we've got for you in the Resource Hub. We've got videos, written articles, we've got training modules, all free for you to consume. Make use of these great resources. They're written by some top tier project professionals to help you empower your career forward. Thanks for listening. See you soon.